Hey, peace world. Thanks for catching me. Some more pay me no mind. Boxing talk, bite down boxing. Hey, look, in the description of this one, there's some links to some write-ups of last night's action. Just giving a different perspective on it, a different level of perspective on the fights. Appreciate if you check me out over there. Helps out in a number of different ways. I told you, I'm more prefer to write about this stuff than to really talk about it. But you got to tie all of it together. Also, do me a favor and check out the latest It's Always Personal podcast over on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcasts. I would appreciate that 3,000%. And what else? What else? Other housekeeping before I get into this. I don't have a lot of time this morning. That's why I'm not even on here at like 10:30 or 11 or whatever. But I was trying to be consistent. Boxing didn't give me a whole lot to be excited about last night, and I'm just coming on here just keeping my word to myself, pretty much. You know what? It was so light last night. I'm gonna go on and get my bite down boxing fighter of the week out of the way. This week is a bit different. It's honestly, it's not even a fighter. Shout out to Sirius XM Fight Nation's Ak Reyes, who was on the call for the fight last night for Canelo versus Yildirim. Shout out to him for keeping it a buck and telling you what the night was all about. Early in the live stream, while they were doing like that second desk stuff they do, the hosting of the show, Akin Barak called it the way that I've talked about these types of fights. He said this is like LeBron in in the first round of the playoffs against the 8 seed, who can't get a win, who can't win the series, and in all likelihood probably can't even win a game. May not even win a quarter in the 4 games that they'll get to be on TV. And I've mentioned this before. Sometimes we used to get crappy games on Thursday night, Monday Night Football. Depending on what market you live in, you might get a bad Sunday 1 o'clock game for the NFL. Your home market team. I'm here in Ohio. What's good, Jamil? How you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in this morning. You might live in a bad market and your Sunday afternoon game at 1 o'clock is complete trash. The only difference is you have a connection to that home team. So not me, because I don't really rock with the Bengals, but you might have a connection to that home team and you might think this is the year. So you tune in. And that's basically what this fight was. That's what this card was all about. I'm not going to do too much on the PBC on Fox card that was headlined by Anthony Dirrell and Kyron Davis. Shout out to Davis for fighting, for putting up a good fight and down there pulling off the upset. I had that on my phone while I was watching the DAZN card on my TV. And, I thought Dirrell could have made the fight a little easier for himself. But, I mean, the dude is 36 years old, 36 or 37. And, it was 10 rounds or whatever. It was 10 or 12. It was 10 rounds because it was a belt on the line. Some kind of WVC belt or whatever. I don't know what to make of that one either. I missed the super lightweight that I'm excited about over on the PBC, the Jesus Ramos kid. I do like him. I missed his fight. And then I didn't see the Milnicki fight. He got a knockout. Jesus Ramos got a knockout. It's not even a lot of energy in what the PBC card is doing. I mean, what PBC and Fox, their whole presentation of their product, it's not even a lot of energy in it right now. They're just going through the motions over there. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago on the Caleb Plant and Caleb Truax fight a couple of weeks ago. They didn't even have anybody to call the fight until the day of. Like, they sent Sean Porter to that fight to call it that morning. He got there moments before they went on to broadcast the fight. Like, that's what's going on over there right now. Hell, I might need to hang out in Los Angeles. I might get to sit in and be a commentator. Just hang out out there. So that's all I'm gonna really say on that, on the PBC side. But yeah, back to Ak and Barak. I mean, the Ak Reyes cat, he called it. You know, that was like the Lakers against the 8th seed in the West, with Yildirim not really having a chance. I think the pandemic is the reason why Fox just doesn't know what to do with boxing. Like, and the PBC doesn't know what to do with boxing. There's no schedule out there. There's no long-term schedule out there. And I think they just don't want to commit to doing anything. You don't know when crowds can get back to these events. You can't sit here and continue to do events without the crowd. If there's restrictions, we know Texas and Florida is allowing crowds, but then everything can't go on in those two states. People in those two states won't continue to show up in big numbers if you flood them with events from Top Rank, as well as the Zone and Matchroom, and then also PBC and Showtime. I mean, PBC, Showtime, and Fox. Everybody just can't go to those two states and throw up events and think that even in 20%, 25% capacity, that there'll still be good ticket sales. The only thing in the PBC's favor is that they do have the Charlos in Texas, and it'd be nice to get a date for them to know what they're going to do. But then also you got to throw in the fact that I don't know how people are traveling right now. So, even if you keep these fights in Texas and Florida, how many people are really traveling, from other areas or other states to even go to these events? So yeah, I think it's just trying to get an idea of when fans will be able to come back to the to the venues, and then in numbers higher than 20 and 25% of capacity. That's just my take on it. Getting in, so like I said, that's the Bite Down. Also, Bite Down Boxing Fighter of the Week this week being weird. Fans who watched all of this stuff, shout out to you. That's also the Bite Down Boxing People of the Week, boxing related People of the Week. If you watch Saturdays, or actually, what was that? Early Saturday mornings heavyweight fight with Joseph Parker and Junior 5. If you caught that one, shout out to you. If you watched the J Balvin concert / unified super middleweight title defense between Canelo and some guy named Avni Yildirim, if you watched that, shout out to you. If you watched all of the PBC on Fox, shout out to you. Getting to this fight real quick. Like I said, I got to get ready to get out of here. I got something to go do today. Hell of a job from Jerry Forrest. To be rocked badly. I mean, he got knocked down with some good shots in the first 3 rounds and could have packed it in. Coming off the bad look against Carlos Takam, the dude is in there fighting to get to keep getting significant paydays. And I don't know if he was hurt, if he was tired, or it was a combination of the two. But I wished he could have been a little more tighter with his technique and threw in some foot feints, some body feints, and worked his way in. He was Jamil. I wish he could have threw in some foot feints to get Zhang to commit, and then step back really quickly after he committed, and then maybe get to an angle and get and create an opening for him to land something big. He kept walking in the front door the same way, and he either got tied up, clinched with that over the back of the neck headlock thing that the taller fighters do, and then he was letting him lean on it. At some point, if the referee doesn't intervene, you got to do something different to give yourself a chance to be effective. But again, I don't know if he was just hurt. I don't know if he was tired, whatever, but he kept doing the same thing over and over and over. There was a couple of moments where he landed some shots up top and had Zhang hurt and whatnot, and looked like he could have got a knockdown himself. The referee was very lax on on keeping the fight clean and penalizing Zhang for for doing it. But like I said, when you as a fighter, when you accept the clinch, you play a role in not getting a fair shake and allowing this man to push the rules. The corner wasn't really complaining to the referee and getting on him. So again, a lot of times the fighter you either have to foul yourself. You got to force the referee to get involved if he's not going to get involved. But he was resilient, as Jamil said, Jelly Bean, and he gave up a good fight. I mean, he gave a good effort to get back into the fight and then to make it interesting and to give himself a chance at the at a victory. Unfortunately, it came out as a majority draw, I believe, and that was that. The Diego Pacheco fight against Rodolfo Gomez Jr. Pacheco, the kid is only 19 years old. He's fighting Gomez Jr., who was 31, I believe. He had a victory over an older and washed Carlos Mayorga. Gomez had never been knocked out. There was a differential in 81 total career rounds to like 24 or something for Diego Pacheco. Again, it was a good learning experience for the youngster. That you can't just sit here and rely on being a 6'4" super middleweight and just using that length and your power to get people out of there. You're gonna have to mix in something to set that power up. Throw the jab with the purpose, be accurate with it, create the openings that you're trying to get. I did like that he was shooting the uppercut. He did work outside well at times and land some big shots. He took a couple of shots from Gomez, being a little reckless. And Gomez was 6'3". Like I said, Pacheco was 6'4". I thought it was a good learning experience for the kid. You come in, and I think he had 5 to 7 knockouts in his last 6 or 7 fights. And, just like we saw last week with Elvis Rodriguez, you fight some guys who aren't easy to get out of there, or they're trying to survive versus opening up and going to war with you. And you got to do something different. But again, I thought it was a decent victory for the kid. I'm trying to remember if it was Pacheco or Espino. I think it was Pacheco who was in camp with David Benavidez, the former WBC super middleweight champion. But keep working. He's only 19, still undefeated, moves to 11-0. And, like I said, you go back and learn that along with the power, you have to add some other finer points to boxing. You have to add those feints in there. You have to get to some angles. You have to have an inside game. You have to have a mid-range game. Work from outside. You have to be physical with some guys. You might have to throw some forearms and you might have to increase your physicality against some guys. You're just not always going to just be able to sit back and bomb from long range and get a guy out of there. I also did like for him to be such a tall guy. I like the way that he was rolling underneath some Gomez's shots and, getting some head movement in there and showing some decent defensive skills and anticipating some shots and showing more of his game. Just ended up going to a decision. Only lost one round. It was 79-73 on all of the cards. Mark Castro, super featherweight out of California against John Moraga. I was kind of shocked that Moraga went the distance with Cincinnati's Duke Reagan in his last fight. But Moraga took this fight extremely late and looked unprepared. And Castro, I didn't think Castro was all that sharp. And I think it was also funny, like Castro was already talking about I'm gonna go up or drop down, or I'm gonna go to what was this, super fat? I'm gonna go to junior lightweight and contend for a title. Like, you're not that nice, bro. You didn't come in and set the world on fire with your performance to go to 2-0 to where you can start talking about titles. I mean, Gabriel Flores Jr. has been working himself the last couple of years and just said he was ready for a title at lightweight. And I don't think he's quite ready. And he's at like 18 or 19 wins, maybe 20 wins or something. We've seen him multiple times. You beat up a veteran MMA guy who came in week of, and you knocked him around. You got a lot of levels to grow before you can start talking about titles. Some of these young guys in boxing it's kind of like the Ryan Garcia effect or something. Just let me start talking about, like, these other guys haven't been working their whole career, to be in, the dude who was sweeping out on the concourse 10 minutes ago. They threw some trunks on him. You knock him out and you talking about titles. Get out of here. Shout out to Keyshawn Davis, gets his lightweight professional debut, a 2-round stoppage over Lester Brown. I don't know why they sent the press release out a few weeks ago and talked about this kid, coming over from USA Boxing, being a very promising, fighter for the Olympics and someone that we all expected to medal. And then they get this kid on the card, and I start seeing stuff on Instagram that Alexis Espino and Keyshawn Davis were already fighting. And I tried to turn on the DAZN app. I said it didn't come on until 7. I'm seeing stuff on Instagram at like 6:50 or 6:30. I'm sorry. And I'm like, damn, am I missing something? I watched the undercard. So I wanted to make sure what was going on. And these guys weren't included on the that's just weird, for it to be an app. Like, all the hubbub about the kid, I wanted to see him in action. Like I said earlier, on the press release that they sent out about Keyshawn making his, going pro, leaving the Olympic team and whatnot, with the uncertainty about the Olympics in Tokyo this summer. They didn't mention, I didn't see anything on there that said it was a multi-fight agreement. It just said he was making his debut. So I just wonder where the kid is going to go to start his career. Again, I think it's very interesting for these guys who choose to get in business with DAZN, and DAZN isn't like universally loved. It just isn't. So it's a chance. You're taking a chance in going over there and starting your career, and people, not enough eyes being on you. For Top Rank, you got these guys that come on and they fight on ESPN Plus for several fights before they start making it to ESPN linear. So same difference there. What else we got on there? I already talked about the Zhang fight, McWilliams, Arroyo, Abraham Rodriguez. That was a 5th round stoppage by Arroyo. Again, Abraham Rodriguez just got the call after WBC flyweight champ Julio Cesar Martinez dropped out with a hand injury earlier in the week. They did salvage a fight for Arroyo. And, you know, this Abraham Rodriguez dude came in and was immediately under fire from Arroyo. Arroyo moves to 21-4 with the stoppage. Abraham Rodriguez drops from to 27-3. Getting to is that pretty much it? Yeah. Canelo and Avni Yildirim. When the fight starts with Canelo basically taking the equivalent of heat checks, I think they call it in the NBA. You know, when you just opening up in the center of the ring from the first round bell, throwing all power shots with no jab, I mean, you just don't have any respect for the person in front of you. You know, he was shooting uppercuts, punishing Yildirim to the body with his left hook, and was just like, I'm gonna punch through your guard. We're like, we don't even look at Canelo as this type of puncher, but Yildirim's face was starting to redden, you know, at the end of the first round. It's always a bad sign when a guy is opening up on you like that and coming back are just pity pat shots, you know, jabs with no conviction. He did slip a right cross in there, like in the second round. He finally threw like a somewhat meaningful. I think Canelo turned with it, you know, to take any kind of steam off of it. But he was afraid. He was afraid to punch with Canelo, and probably for good reason. Again, man, out of the ring too. This had all the signs of being a bad night. Inactive for 2 years, hadn't fought since February of 2019. Had the reputation of being Mr. Robot. Was over in Turkey training as early as like 3 weeks ago. Julio Diaz went over there to get some time in with him and spent a couple of weeks over there in Turkey. I mean, how dedicated is Julio Diaz? I guess he wanted his cut from this purse, though. When you know it's a bag of gold at the end of the job, you know, you go do what you got to do to get it. But yeah, man, not unable to do anything. He kept it. I know it was bad. Like I said, when Canelo was just throwing uppercuts 15, usually you got to set uppercuts up. Usually you have to get a good read on what your opponent is doing and get used to, you know, pick up the timing, his tendencies. Usually you're not that comfortable enough to just start throwing uppercuts. Usually. That's how outmatched Yildirim was, and how much disrespect Canelo had for this man. At the end of the round, Canelo starts throwing a jab a little bit more to kind of, I can't say keep dude off of him, but to give him some other stuff to worry about. Give him some other stuff to look at before going back downstairs with the hooks to the body and the uppercuts. So I guess he changed his eye level. That was part of that. Get into the second round, he's still lighting him up. Again, check me out over at www.fightdownboxing.com. Write up of the fights over there. I'd appreciate that. I need those clicks, honestly. Anyway, man, fast forward to the third round. Yildirim is doing what he can do. I'm sure he was doing the best that he could do, as comfortable as he felt. But you know, but he's well aware that anything he goes to do, he's being made to pay for it. You know, he's basically being trained and tamed. I think that's what I had in my title of my article was he got tamed and then he got stopped. But I think I like the combination, though. That's the one thing, like I said, that's the one thing that you would watch this fight for, just to watch the offensive execution and the offensive growth of of Canelo. You know, to see what right now, you know, everybody in boxing is talking about what Eddie Reynoso, his trainer, you know, how he's getting these guys together and getting these guys sharp, the gains and improvements, the constant improvement that all these guys are having underneath his tutelage, and being, you know, the benefits of being in camp with this whole team, whether it's Ryan Garcia. We see some photos of Andy Ruiz in good shape. Weird angle on that. You know, I'm not trying to make anything of it, but why not just show a picture, you know, a photo from you from the front and let us tell ourselves, but to hold it up over your head, I don't know, whatever. But you definitely can see that he's in good shape, Ruiz, and that there's peer pressure, you know. Another detail. So anyway, let me get to the close of that fight. But he sets him up with that nice with a jab up through the guard, and immediately after the jab, the right hand arrives and knocks Yildirim back a couple of feet before he goes down to the canvas. He did get up. There was a lot of time left on the clock. I think that was in the first 30, 35 seconds of round 3. There's a lot of time left on the clock. I was honestly surprised he didn't go back down to the canvas. He figures it out. I mean, he doesn't figure it out, but he survives to the end of the round. Took a couple of more good shots. I think he might have slipped one shot in there on Canelo, just something out of desperation. But you know, Canelo was like, I know I got 6 or 7 more or whatever, however many more rounds. If I'm hurting you with one punch, I know I can get it again. I can set something up. No rush. And it gets over into the corner, and Joel Diaz is telling him, look, man, you know, I'm here on your behalf and for your well-being. And if I see another round like that, I'm gonna have to stop this thing. Immediately it becomes, you know, we're not trying to win this fight anymore. None of the stuff that we worked on in camp, I don't really care about none of that execution. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to sit in here and let you get pieced up like this. And I think they went away from the corner. We thought it was going to continue. Yildirim is looking all around, kind of in distress or just completely out of it. And a couple of days, they went to go switch over to the Canelo corner, which they're just thinking about the next fight, or maybe where they're going to have dinner at that point, where they're going to celebrate reuniting with Jay Balvin. And then the referee just came over there and said, hey, the fight is over. That's it. You know, advised the Canelo corner that it was over, and that was that. Basically, this was an infomercial. This was an infomercial for May 8th against Billy Joe Saunders. That's what this was essentially, you know, about. Can't say that I'm not excited. And I can't say that I'm excited. I just think it's a decent fight. It's not the fight that we want. It's not the matchups that a lot of us would like. After Caleb Plant, Caleb Truax, I can't say I'm really all that interested in that fight, to be honest. Billy Joe, not a power puncher, but I do think he's scrappy. I do think he's a very competent boxer. I think it'll be another situation. Like, how can he go to work against Canelo? And if Canelo is making him miss and making him pay, then maybe we see a change in Billy Joe Saunders. But going into it, I think Billy Joe can box pretty damn well. And at least for a few rounds, you know, he can box. He can box. Now, can he get Canelo out of there? Can he hit him and get his respect? Can he damage him? You know, build up any damage? Can he frustrate Canelo in any way? All of that stuff remains to be seen. Again, it's not the fight that I want. Interestingly, Jamal Charlo went to the fight. He did not get on camera the same way and get involved in the live stream in the same way that Teofimo Lopez could a couple of weeks ago. But we know that Matchroom Boxing needs Teofimo Lopez, or has a lot of interest in working with Teofimo Lopez to help the career of Devin Haney. So he got to get on the mic and talk some trash and say his piece and so on and so forth. Jamal, they don't really need him right now. They don't have a need for him. They would more or less like to get Canelo versus Triple G3 at the end of the year. Or if Canelo truly is fighting 4 times this year, then however it would fit into their schedule. But that's more the direction that they would like to go with Canelo, contingent upon the outcome of Canelo Saunders May 8th. So I don't know. Was it a waste of a trip for Jamal? I don't know. I also saw, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what the hell Ryan Garcia was talking about. I muted the TV when he was on there hamming it up with Ak and Barack and what's her name? Kate Abdo. When they were all buddy and whatnot and listening to this 23-year-old dude talk about what he's gonna do, what he wants to do, how he's gonna do it, when he's gonna do it. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that at all. The only thing I did hear was when he said that Manny Pacquiao's team presented a fight to him. And then they tried to clean that up. And again, if you follow boxing and you listening to any fighter that's younger than 25, doesn't have any titles, any world titles, hasn't fought any world champions, hasn't been in a unification. If you listen, if you take them at their word and think that they're calling shots and believe in whatever schedule they want to throw out there and whatever their objective is and what they're going to, if you sit and take that to heart, a pair of lips will say anything. They will tell you whatever you want to hear. So I had that on mute. But yeah, with Charlo, I was just going to say that I saw a picture of Bud Crawford, Boo Andre, Demetrius Andre, a DAZN fighter. No mic time for him. We don't need him either. Don't have any plans for him either for a real fight. I guess they're ready. What did they announce? Did Hearn announce April something with Liam Williams? Did that one get announced? I don't know. But no time for him. No airtime for him. No FaceTime for him. Because he doesn't fit into the plans for Canelo either. And I mean, he is at middleweight. I get he is at middleweight. And I guess to get ready to shut this down, that becomes my question, like for the PBC and or not even for the PBC, for the fighters themselves, for Jamal, what are you going to go and push for? What are you going to go and demand happen for you? What becomes like, you got to build your own business. And this situation with Canelo not looking to fight Charlo, in my opinion, is no different than Floyd not looking to fight Sean Porter or Keith Thurman on his way out the door. So this isn't all about the whole race thing, the whole racial thing. This is, if you're a fighter, you're an independent contractor for the most part. What is your plans to go out here and build your business and build your name and do something? I just want somebody to tell me what we're doing. And that's what kills me about some of the boxers is, boxing is I was talking to another cat offline yesterday. Boxing is still it's still great in the sense that you can pick your own schedule. You can dare to be as great as you want to be. You can you can set your own schedule. There is no 16 game season. There is no 82 game season. There aren't 162 games in Bay. There is no structure to it. Like, you can go out here and do whatever the hell you want to do. But none of these guys really seem to get on a microphone and really say shit. Like, I want to do this. I want to fight so-and-so. I want to be unified. I want to be undisputed. These fights won't happen. I'll go over here. Nobody says anything. It's just a bunch of standing around. So just the interest in their own career, like, and that's why boxing has just got to be difficult as hell. I mean, like I said, it's great in one aspect, but I guess another thought that sometimes I just think about boxing to myself. The one thing we don't know is, like, and I guess it works for Matchroom and DAZN, but what are they being, what's the cost to them to have this fight that nobody cared about? Is there any boost from having Canelo on there 10 weeks after his last fight? Like I said, it's an infomercial to give us Billy Joe Saunders and him, but did Canelo, and that's the thing, did Canelo make it easier for last night's fight to happen financially? Did he make it easier for this fight to happen because he wants to do what he's trying to do? So I'm gonna take did he cut his price in half for this? Did he look at all of the numbers and say, well, I'll take this, I'll make this cut so that I can get what I need to get in in May? And then as DAZN, in trying to finesse this relationship, like I said earlier, I would imagine their plan is they want to do whatever possible. If this is beneficial to them, they want to do whatever is possible to try to retain the services of Canelo Alvarez beyond May 8th, if he beats Saunders. Like, they would love nothing more than to get that Triple G fight in there. Or what else could they do? Would they try to make the fight so that again, with the PBC and what we just see with Regis Prograis going over to Triller, would PBC be receptive to, hey, we'll let Caleb Plant fight over on DAZN? We don't have no plans over here. I'm not saying that's how that's going to happen. I'm interested to see how any of this shit works out, because we got so many people that get on these channels and say it's easy to do all of this stuff. But like I just said, why aren't any of these guys fighting? Why don't they have any dates getting put together? Cats just sitting around on Instagram, just taking pictures, making videos, showing them flying on private jets, new pair of sunglasses, designer t-shirt on, new jacket with a bunch of zippers and shit on it. That's where boxing lives right now. Instagram. Instagram, Twitter, just talking. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Did I have anything else to say before I get on out of here? Like I said, man, good fights. Some good fights coming up this week. Thursday night, NBC Sports Network. Thursday night, super welterweights, Serhii Boachuk and Brandon the Cannon Adams. Say what you want. I think it's gonna be a pretty good fight. I think it's gonna be an enjoyable fight. If you just like boxing, I think it's gonna be a pretty decent fight. It's down in Puerto Rico. I don't know a lot about the other fighters on that card. Like I told you yesterday, you can check Twitch, the Twitch app. You can put that on your mobile device, and there might be some other bouts on there. But I do think that main event is going to be pretty enjoyable. I'm looking forward to that one. And it's the perfect circumstances. Like Brandon Adams can't afford another loss. And he actually is a pretty good boxer with good power. So, and I think he's where he belongs at 154. He doesn't belong up at middleweight. And then Boachuk is just that situation. He's one of these cats. He's very unproven. And we get to see him against a guy who at one point in time was going places. So it has all of the right circumstances for it to be a good boxing match. Like I said, big time boxing is hit and miss. It's hit and miss. So when you just get a decent fight that can be competitive and it can be hard fought, you got to rock with that. The next night, March 5th, Her Story on Fight TV or Fight.tv. Again, check them out on Instagram. You can figure out how to buy that fight if you're interested in it. That's Claressa Shields against Canada's Marie-Eve Dicaire. It's going down in Flint. The pay-per-view price was $29.99. I actually asked myself, am I going to pay for that shit last night? Because I don't know who's on the card. I am a little disappointed if Raquel Miller is not on that card. And when that card was announced, it was like it's going to be all of these great women on here that we don't get to see fight and that can't get fights. And now that the card is kind of coming together as much as we know, all I know is Danielle Perkins is the only other name that I know on there. So a couple of other fighters that I had hoped had a chance to fight on there aren't fighting on there. Tierra Brown being one. Tierra Brown could have used some help from Claressa. I don't know if they even have a relationship, but it was supposed to be like this rising tide raises all boats. And, you talking about the GWOAT and the face of women's boxing. Okay, well, are you really helping a lot of women or are you just helping yourself? And I understand if you're just helping yourself because this, like I said, this shit is difficult. I'm not even trying to be unfair to you. This shit is difficult. Shit, she probably looking at it like, damn, so I got to pay sis $35,000 for her fight. I got to pay her $40,000 for her fight. I don't know if 20,000 people were even going to buy this shit. Like, these discussions get made. What do you want to fight? Oh, you want 50? You want 50 bands? Can you do it for 13? I mean, hey. So I understand. But Salida Promotions, when this shit came out, it was like, it's going to be this great night of women's boxing. And that's where, like I said, people start pointing these fingers at people, man. But then when you start watching it closely and seeing what people set out to do and what shit actually becomes by the time the fight night happens, and it's markedly different. It's reasons why the shit doesn't happen. So I'm not really trying to knock her, but at a certain point, she like, shit, I'm just gonna go in here and feed myself. I'm probably taking a loss on this shit. And I'm gonna just get these belts and see what that leads to, what doors that open. And then I'm gonna go fight in June on this MMA shit and hope that shit goes well. That's the reality of the situation, man. But I still tip my cap to her for stepping out here and trying to make it happen. So now I just talk myself back into the I'm in. I'm gonna go put this Fight TV shit on my TV. Fight TV. I'm gonna put this shit on my TV and give him my $30, man. Shit. I'm gonna give him my $30. And I'm gonna give him my $30 with a smile on my face. But yeah, I mean, real talk though, man. I mean, here it is, week of. You want, again, how do you just go do shit and make these commitments and hope people tune in, and you've given people no reason to tune in? I know we're all stuck at home right now, going on a year. I know we're all stuck at home, but I can stick at home. I can be stuck at home and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can be stuck at home and read a book. I can do some free shit at home. So to think that you can just make a fight branded with some shit like her story, tell me it's the second weight division, you're going to be the first fighter to fight for undisputed in 2 consecutive bouts. You can sell it how you can try to sell it however you want to. But again, nobody even knows about this shit next Friday. What else? What else is going on? Is that it next weekend? I thought Saturday night. Anything Saturday? I don't know. Looking a little farther out though. I am super excited about March 13th. March 13th. That's DAZN's card headline with a hell of a fight. And super flyweight champions Juan Francisco Estrada against Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Gonna be a hell of a fight. I'm super excited about that. So any channel that's talking some shit about there ain't nothing going on in boxing, I mean, if they don't mention that fight, if they don't have any interest in that fight, I don't know what, that's a reflection of who you like to F with. But that's going to be a damn good fight. Also on that fight is going to be the rematch between Jessica McCaskill, the welterweight undisputed champion, her rematch with the first lady of boxing, Cecilia Brækhus. That's going to be, I don't know if that, I'm imagining that would be the co-main event on that card. I like to be big on that fight, but McCaskill, I like McCaskill out of the ring. I like how she carries herself. I think she's great for boxing. I just don't know if her boxing skills really always do it for me. She just mixes it up. I mean, she's gonna give effort. I just wish she would clean up her attack a little bit. You have the belts now. I mean, damn. You've made some decent money. You've been on some cards. You're doing your thing. I just wish she would sharpen up her craft a little bit. Her dude won't respond to my emails when I was trying to talk to her. So fuck it. I talk about what I don't like about her. She could clean up her game a little bit and be more aesthetically pleasing, in all honesty. Cecilia Brækhus, she's pissed off because she lost her titles that she held for years. So they had some bad blood between them. They did go back and forth. Jessica McCaskill said some stuff, and Brækhus, like I said, she's it's like a woman scorned. She was dominating for all of these years before women's boxing started making any noise. And she was doing this shit with very little light on her for years. And now 2 or 3 fights of fighting in the light as the women's game is starting to gain a little traction. She runs in here and she probably feels like I lost my title to this crew fighting, slugger, this brawler, and I really didn't lose my titles. And she was stuck over here in the United States. She's from Norway. She was stuck over here in the United States away from her friends and family for damn near a year or something to make that fight. She takes a fight in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in downtown, in the middle of a street, in the middle of an intersection in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You don't know what those judges are about. And the judges went in here and favored the person that looked like they were doing a lot of work. And she lost her titles. So she's pissed off about it. She was leaning towards retirement. I guess after she got home and thought about it and was so disgusted in who she let beat her, and she was like, nah, I got to come back and get this shit a crack. I know I can box. She's bigger. McCaskill was coming up from 140 pounds. She's bigger. She is, I think McCaskill might be 31 or 32 years old. Breakus is maybe 38 or 39. So I'm giving you all the angles that I can give to you, that I can give you, to make this fight interesting. And if you don't rock with women's boxing, I got no problem with that. I don't know who else is on that card off the top of my head, but like I said, that's the schedule for the next 2 weeks. This Thursday night, March 4th, Friday night, March 5th, and then March 13th, Juan Francisco Estrada and Chocolatito. And that's about all I got. I'm gonna get on off of here. I talked a lot longer than 20 minutes longer than what I thought. Anyway, man, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Again, check me out on www.bitedownboxing.com. Check those write-ups out. I would appreciate it. Bite Down Boxing, don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.